back to your natural diet. All these multivitamins and blood tonic, they are all derived from one plant or fruit or vegetable.
It's always good to read labels of packaged food and to check the sodium content that is present in whatever you're buying, just to be smart.
Nutrition is important at every stage of life.
Driven by a highly motivated team, Lagos Television brings you robust programming. We are the voice of Lagos.
Good morning, Nigeria. It's the midweek edition of The Conversation here on Lagos Television. The holidays are over. Work has commenced fully. Jibola, don't come at me this morning. No. I am Abimbola Bello.
Abimbola is in the spirit. The holiday is over. She was not here on Monday. She was not here on Tuesday. She had all the fun.
I'm back to
But I hope you will not be like some people.
That.
They promised and they fail.
Oh my
Mutiat and Hidayat. Till now, my hand is empty.
You know the way I work.
But Abimbola, are you not at work today?
I am.
And my meat is already with you. Teloko, she slaughtered 7 rams. And she's a civil servant too. Okay.
And she told you now, she said you should have come to Ikorodu and you would have had the feel of the ram. But since you didn't come,
Anyway, the holiday is over. We are glad to be back here again. I am Ajibola Ojeshola, welcoming you to the show.
Okay, life has resumed. Of course, all of the festivities done and dusted with. But again, you would ask yourself, Nigerians were complaining, there's no money, there's no money, there's no money.
Abimbola.
People were slapping around.
Hey, cows, camels.
So the thing here is, again, if you look at the cost, opportunity cost, and then you have a large family, you would probably want to go for the cow because of the sharing issues. It will go a long way because the ram, it is just ram and it is bone, so you'll not be able to share. But the thing about it for me is why I would always choose ram every day, anytime, any day, is because of, one, the taste, and then 2, we eat cow meat all around the year.
Then I get bored with cow easily,
yes, and so
unlike ram.
It's just, once in a year, except if you just want to just go and buy ram meat yourself. But hey, life goes on.
Life goes on, but those that slaughtered cows and camels, maybe we were complaining that there's no money in the country. So where did you get the money?
I hope you did not borrow.
Hey.
I just hope you did not borrow to buy camel.
Okay, well, this term is going to end very soon, and before you know it, you'll pay another school fees. So if you had borrowed, if you had taken loan to buy rams, to buy cows, reality will dawn on you.
And you have to start paying back. Okay, let's go into the program now. Of course, we'll take a news point for today. Let's begin from our own dear Mr. President.
Okay, very interesting headline this morning. No matter the challenge, I won't turn my back on Nigeria. President Tinubu talking there. President Bola Tinubu has said a change of value system is imperative for Nigerians to progress. He, however, declared that no matter the challenge the country faces, it will never turn his back on the country. President Tinubu spoke in Lagos when he received a delegation from the National Assembly on Monday who came to felicitate with Mr. President in the celebration of Salah. The delegation led by the Senate President, Godswill Akpabio, also include the Deputy Senate President, Jibrin Barau, and the Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, Honorable Benjamin Kalu, among others. The President said, and I'm quoting the President now, "Good economics at a harsh time is a challenge we must face. And as I said in my speech, no matter how challenging it can be, I will never turn my back on Nigeria." The President, in a statement signed by spokesperson Ajirin Gilale, charged Nigerians to change their mindset about Nigeria if the nation is to overcome its current challenges. Mr. President, okay, promising Nigerians that he will never turn his back.
Is that a promise or a rhetoric? Because again, why would you? Who would expect that you would turn your back on Nigeria in the first place?
Are you not the president?
You're the president.
You are the president.
You
And you begged for the job.
You will only turn your back on Nigeria when you cease to be president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So, at the moment, we will hold you responsible for every good, every bad, every ugly. And we would ask you questions as Nigerians. And so, Mr. President better start getting used to the fact that Nigerians will keep knocking, Nigerians will keep talking, and
they will keep asking.
Keep asking and keep demanding. So, it just feels that Mr. President will continue to assure Nigerians that no matter the hardship, I will not turn my back on you.
And there'll be light at the end of the tunnel. But for me, there was something, there's another angle rather to this particular event where Mr. President made that statement. Abimbola, the president was in Abuja with the Senate President, with the House of Reps members. Why this jamboree of coming to Lagos all the time? Allow the man to rest.
We're just like...
Imagine what they would have spent coming to Lagos.
We like see me. Because whether we like it or not, Mr. President will return to Abuja in a few days. And of course, you can continue the felicitation or... So if you had not come to Lagos to greet him for Salah, what would have happened?
They would have gone to Aso Rock to pay homage.
You know, sometimes we just need to set our priorities right. There are certain things that we need to stop doing as... Again, you keep saying Nigerians should endure, Nigerians should believe. What are you doing to show Nigerians that they must believe? I really do not see the reason for that visit. I don't get it.
And what are you doing to show that you are prudent?
I don't know. So, and that's why Nigerians will continue to talk, Nigerians will continue to ask questions, and will continue to hold the leaders accountable for some of their actions. Back here in Lagos, Lagos floats smart health information platform for patients' data management. Now, the story says the Lagos State health sector welcomed a new revolution with the introduction of smart health information platform, SHIP, to transform data transmission and management across all state-owned healthcare facilities. The highly secure digital cloud is a state government-led effort designed in collaboration with eCloud, a health technology company, and InterSwitch Limited to create a backbone for seamless movement of patients' data and to enhance digital transformation in the state's healthcare. Of course, the initiative was launched by Mr. Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu yesterday. And of course, it was a concession agreement between the Office of Public-Private Partnership and the Digital Health Platform Limited ahead of the full deployment of SHIP in the state health sector. Fantastic.
Fantastic, yeah.
Yes, because again, we should be moving, and we're moving in that direction, moving away from the era of where you lose patients' data, where you cannot, at the click of a button, assess or access a patient's data. So again, this will go a long way, and especially for referral purposes, where you refer a patient from one facility to the other, where you would not, they'll start asking you, where is the case file of the patient? All of this can then be done via the the technology, and it will again be seamless, and again patients can begin to have stored data. And I think we're moving away from paper storage. Files. We know
civil service, they like files.
We know how to carry. So digitization is the way to go, and this coming at this time is another plus for the Lagos State government.
Yeah, the state government is just leveraging on technology to enable efficient health service delivery. And I think we have started seeing this in some health facilities in Lagos State. Remember that I mentioned a particular experience that I had at the Fakoja General Hospital.
Right.
I didn't have to carry any file. It was
Right,
just
it
my
was
card.
just- and then
before I got to the medical doctor,
it had-
he already had my records and everything.
Fantastic
So technology
way
is
to
the way
go.
to go. And then Lagos State is proactive. We're already thinking about the future using technology.
All right, let's quickly take the last story this morning. Do you have that? The one about the NAFDAC. NAFDAC warning that you should not keep your meals in the fridge for too long. After 3 days, is either you eat it up or you do away with it. Now, remember also the refrigerator is different from you putting something in a freezer. So for many people who are always very comfortable leaving meals in the refrigerator for over 3 days.
I think I have the story
This
now.
is,
Okay, the DG of the National Agency for Food and Administration and Control, Professor Muji Adeyeye, has advised Nigerians to refrain from storing cooked food in the refrigerator for more than 3 days. Adeyeye warned that cooked food stored in the refrigerator for days is susceptible to contamination by disease-causing pathogens, key agents of foodborne diseases that can lead to death. Adeyeye made this known in a statement yesterday signed by the agency's resident media consultant, Adeyeye, who said this in commemoration of the year 2024 World Food Safety Day, warned Nigerians to please not to store their food beyond 3 days in refrigerators. And of course, she actually emphasized the need for all of us to embrace food safety culture in the country. So how do we store?
don't store more than 3 days.
Okay.
But you can store in the freezer. But again, remember, she was specific, cooked food.
Cooked, yeah.
Cooked food. So even if you want to store, you can, for a lot of people who monitor their food, if you put in the refrigerator, because again, you know, the refrigerator has temperature, and so it's either you store at -3 degrees Celsius or thereabout, and the power supply is erratic, so off and on. By after the 3rd day, it starts growing molds, or it starts something will be off. So it's just for safety reasons that after the 3rd day, it starts losing taste, it starts losing color. Except for those who, again, who will just jettison safety issues and say, I beg, go food na chop. And then you just get, especially now that cholera is also ravaging.
Yeah,
so these are things that you need to take cognizance of. You can store some of these meals in the refrigerator because you know that it will get frozen. And then
In the freezer?
In the freezer, it will get frozen and then you can thaw when you want to cook. But the bad thing there is that when you thaw the food after putting it in the freezer, you will not go and return it again. And all of these things. So you can store in pieces in the freezer so that when you bring out, you're using
You portion
up.
it.
Yes, you're using it up. Because again, it's dangerous when you heat and then you put it back in the freezer. So you store in portions what you can finish at once when you bring. So all of these things are for safety issues, and especially for those of us that have children, you know, they're very susceptible to bacteria and growth. So we must ensure that we take all of these things.
Especially now that cholera is everywhere.
It is,
and,
it is.
We need to be careful.
To be very careful.
rather.
All right, let's quickly head to the X platform this morning to take a look at what is trending. Because Rivers is in the news this morning, and it's been a tug of war in Rivers since yesterday. And many people this morning are actually taking a swipe at the Federal Capital Territory Minister, Nyesom Wike, saying, you know what, this is about the best time for you to hands off the issues in Rivers. And Governor Sim Fubara is also talking tough. And he's taking the bull by the horn.
Okay, I'm not saying that Governor Fubara is not the governor, but as much as I want to advise the FCT minister to also step aside, is no longer in power, And of course, the tenure for local government chairman in Rivers State
that's
is
where
3 years.
Exactly.
And your
So
tenure is
why
over.
would you want to elongate your tenure? So again, I think we need to get to that level where we must begin to tell ourselves that we are our greatest problems. We just deliberately cause wahala for ourselves. It is known that you have 3 years to stay there as a local government chair. So if the governor, and this is where again the local government autonomy issue will rear its ugly head again. So if election had been conducted in those local government areas, of course the council chair would have exited, and they would have even if they came back as duly elected, but at least an election had been held. But here you are, your tenure expired, no election, and yet you want to declare that you want to sit down.
But they are also hiding somewhere.
That's
They are saying that the 3-year tenure of the 23 chairman, they had vowed to remain in office, citing the local government amendment law of 2024 made by the Martin Amuwele-led House of Assembly. The law by the 27 lawmakers loyal to Wike empowers them to remain in office for 6 months due to the failure of Fubara to conduct local government elections.
But again, so the government will also now say that that assembly is no longer there. So Governor Fubara has also sent, to the 3-member House of Assembly. Rivers right now is just... but
I just hope.
what a lot of people are also saying is that Rivers also needs to tread with caution so that a state of emergency is not declared.
Abimbola, stylishly,
in that
they are
state.
romancing state of emergency.
Because if the peace and stability of that state is in question, then I'm not sure the federal government will also want
And,
to...
I saw some of their youth yesterday in some of those local government areas, destroying things. That is not the right thing to do. And I feel that Mr. Governor should caution them, especially those Ijaw youths. They stand to get nothing,
They are
At the
Ijaw
end of the
men.
day, Wike and Fubara, they will settle their matter. And their life will go on. Where are the children of Wike? Where are the children of Fubara?
I know, and a lot of people will say, better don't let your children be used for...
I just hope that Rivers will not push the federal government to taking some drastic
I'm sure the federal
actions.
government is also very careful here so that, again, a lot of people will not read political meanings
Now,
into
Mr.
the
President is trying to
situation.
take side with the FCT minister.
So,
Or at worst, the National Assembly will take over the functions of the State House of Assembly.
Maybe that should be better. All right, you can head to the X platform if you'd like to read more on why Rivers State is trending at the moment. We'll take a quick break. When we return, the conversation continues on the other side.
watching The Conversation on Lagos Television. We'll quickly run you through our column for today, coming from The Punch. And this one is titled Legislative Assemblies in the Last 1 Year, and is written by Jide Ojo. And what the column is basically saying is the functions of the three arms of government, the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary, and how they have fared so far in the Fourth Republic, and how essential the legislative arm of government is to democracy. And it goes thus saying that the need for the independence of the legislative arm of government is very, very important, and how we need to strengthen our democracy in the country. Abimbola.
Yes, so of course the column also went ahead to take a look at some of the achievements of the National Assembly in the last 1 year. Of course, the House of Representatives, according to this write-up, has about 1,500 bills being considered, while only 10 have been passed and consolidated, and also 679 motions have been moved, of course, in the House of Representatives in the last 1 year. Jide was also quick to say that many Nigerians are dissatisfied with the flamboyant lifestyles of the lawmakers, be it at the federal or subnational levels. Ajibola.
I don't know what else to say.
I'm sure you would want to take a, just take a read of Jide. It's just a catalogue of what, the National Assembly has achieved in the last 1 year. Jide Ojo.
Their visit yesterday is also part of their achievement. In 1 year.
Okay, Jide Ojo writes in from Abuja, and of course the Punch is where we're taking the column for today. We'll take another quick break. When the conversation returns, part one of our conversation this morning, and today we're taking a look again at issues around food. This time, how do we overcome food shortages in a country such as ours, Nigeria? All right, welcome back to the program. It's still a conversation here on Lagos Television. Before we went on that break, we did say that today we'll be taking a look at overcoming food shortages in Nigeria. Now, according to a report, food scarcity in Nigeria has year on year been a double-digit issue, and about 1 in every 10 Nigerians experience severe hunger. Now, this is where, for me, it became quite alarming. Nigerians numbering 31.5 million are projected to face acute hunger by June to August 2024 lean season in 26 states and the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. And of these figures, 83,846 are IDPs. Now, we have a guest in the house this morning. He's an agriculturist and MD Bama Farms. Of course, he'll be helping us, get more light or shed more light on this particular issue. It's been here before. So before preferring solution, we probably also need to identify why we are where we are today. Mr. Wale Oyekoya, good morning, sir. Thank you for being here on the program today.
Good morning. Nice for having me.
Right. Issues around hunger and food scarcity have been on the front burner for close to 6 months in Nigeria now. And day in, day out, if you go to the market every day, there's a tendency that what you bought yesterday, you will not buy it at the same price today. We've identified issues around insecurity, flooding, some of the issues causing these problems. Are we still there? Are those still the issues that we're currently facing as Nigeria, and why there is food shortage or this food scarcity?
Thank you for having me here. I believe the issue has been around it's more than 6 months that you have just stated.
Okay.
Because I can remember we've been talking about the food shortages, food crisis for over 5 years now. And so many advices or precautions that's given to the government, either the federal, state, or local government, have not been adhered to. And that is why we find ourselves where we are today.
Okay.
And if you remember that we rely too much, especially in the Southwest, on the northern state to bring food to us. So definitely we have become a slave to the northern farmers. Are you telling me that with all the abundant and arable lands we have in the Southwest, we cannot even grow our own food? I'm going to base most of our discussions on the Southwest.
Okay,
I'm in Southwest, and definitely we're the one really feeling it. Because we like it or not, all these northerners, when they produce, they still travel as far back over 750 kilometers and bring their products to Lagos.
Yeah.
So they bring their products there and they go back with billions of naira. You understand? So we need to really get out of this systematic degradation that we find ourselves in the Southwest.
Okay.
Because if you remember in the olden days where we used to produce cash crops, so are you telling me that there is a science or technology behind it that we cannot grow tomatoes or pepper in Southwest?
But aren't we growing at all, or what we're growing is minimal? Because again, you just mentioned tomatoes, and sometimes you hear the Yoruba tomatoes and you hear the Hausa tomatoes, and I do understand currently what we have in the market now is more of the Yoruba tomatoes. And so is it that we're not growing, or what we're growing is rather small from what we depend on from the northern states?
It has a multidimensional problems. First of all, the seed that we are really planting does not generate from Nigeria.
Okay.
I'm a farmer. If you go to most of these places where they sell seed, most of them are imported, either from India, from China, or from Israel. We've been talking about research and development, and that is what Nigeria is well known in the olden days, that let's do our own research so that we'll be able to know what can grow in our own climate, in our own soil. So every country have got a unique soil. You cannot compare the weather of Israel to Nigeria. You can never compare the condition in India or China to Nigeria. So the problem is the seed that we are planting need to be changed, or so that we can be able to produce. We have the IITA. What do they do? How many are they really producing? And the easy solutions for these things that you have to go back to the drawing board. And what is the drawing board? In the olden days, when we were in the primary school, they allow us to. They gave us seed free to grow. That way, when you are growing up, you get used to it that you can grow your own seed. You plant maize, It started germinating. You call your friend, come and look. My maize is germinating. Come and look at my bean, it's germinating. It's very fascinating. So we need to go back to the drawing board so that we can insist this discipline into the young ones before they get to the adulthood. And at the same time, this seed has to be free. The federal government, the state government, they really need to put out this seed. All these social intervention funds, to me, it's wasting of money. All this palliative they are giving to the governors to give to the locals, it's wasting of money. If you say you're marking about 100 billion, how are you sure that even 5 billion will be earmarked to the masses? Why can't they give this seed free to the kids in the primary school, in the secondary school, even the university level? Because remember, in the olden days, UI or Unifair, everybody grow their own food. But nowadays, it's no more. What about the workers, either in the federal level, the state level, or the local government level? Give them free seed. Give them free fertilizer. They cannot eat it. What do they do with it? They plant it. And they'll be so happy that, oh, after closing work, they go back to their house and water this plant. You will see that they have abundance of food, and their disposable income will be enough for them at the end of the day. So they will, once you are able to satisfy your needs in terms of food, the congestion in the market will be reduced. It's practiced everywhere in the world. Either in China, that's what they call family farming. Either in US, that's what they call family farming.
Okay.
Family farming is just to get yourself, make sure that your kids wear this, especially on weekend, they don't do anything instead of them being glued to the television.
Right, they can tend to their
They
farms.
can tend to their farms, and they will grow. And by the time the kids grow something from their school, they will take it home also to their parents. Oh, you grow this, then we must do the same thing here. The same thing, that is for every student in the primary school or secondary school, and for the workers. What about the NYC? What are they doing? The NYC idea, they have a whole lot of lands over there. I remember one time there was intervention, they called me. And it was in Abuja that I should come and teach them how they can use this abundant land and farming. Well, I gave it to them, it's left for them to take it. Then there was a time also when we talk about this family farming during the regime of this minister, Nanono, during the Buhari. I gave him everything that if we can be able to practice family farming, but the government should be able to sacrifice to give them free seed and free fertilizers. Everybody be able to grow. And once you are grow all this tomato, pepper we are talking about, you know how I get fascinated with these plants. When I first got back to the US, I was doing constructions. Then, in the process of doing this drainage, there's some of them that ground pepper. They just throw the seed.
Okay.
If you see how the tomato come up, I uprooted them, I take it to my backyard, and I planted. If you see how many baskets of
You were able to harvest.
I was able to harvest. So why can't we go back to the basic? Why everything should be palliative? To me, all this palliative is nothing but fraud.
Okay, beyond all this palliative, why is this? Where is this disconnect coming from? We have arable land in the southwest, and yet our leaders are not able to envision what we need to do to tackle this problem of food shortage. And then, aside from that, what are the other factors that you think are responsible for the food shortages that we have?
It's very simple. I keep on saying that our state governors have a lot to do. They've been so fixated that all their minds, all their focus is on the federal allocated money. And once the money is allocated to them, what do? Most of them change it to dollars. Instead of them to use the money they went to Abuja to collect to develop their state, they will not do it. And number one is another security. Without security...
But they will tell you that they are developing their states, constructing buildings, constructing roads.
What about agriculture? Agriculture is the main thing everywhere in the world. If you cannot feed your citizens, you don't want to be called a nation. And that is what is happening in Nigeria now. How could you be buying a basket of tomato for 120,000? And these governors should be ashamed of themselves. This is something that can grow in your backyard. And within 1 hectare of land, I can't imagine how many baskets of tomatoes I could get. Even Dangote tried one time when he wanted to start the tomato. Yes, he was frustrated because the seed that was planted then was imported, and there's something they call this disease that came another time that eat up the whole thing because the seed were not developed for our own climate.
Okay.
That's the problem we keep on having. And I keep on saying, we cannot keep on blaming the federal government. Do we expect the president to grow tomato in Aso Rock? Why are we saying being power, when we have so many land? Even within the environment of AirTV here, I'm sure there are still some little empty land that we can even plant. Everywhere you wanted to concrete, what are you doing with all this?
Well, are the incentives there to attract people to want to go into farming?
It's not there. That's why I'm talking about that. The federal government, the orientation is very important. The Malaysia that are coming and take a seed of oil palm, if you go towards all their streets, they planted this oil palm that is yielding fruits. It's encouragement. See, when you enter into a nation, especially in the highways, in the express road, that is how you're going to know if a nation is serious about agriculture. It's going to be kilometers of expanse of land for corn, for maize, for everything. But here is zero. What do you see? Is camping of religious here and there, either the Christianity or the other way around. It's wrong. Let us all embrace agriculture.
Right. Well, one of the things that I know that you've been campaigning on or wanting to get sustained is small-scale agriculture.
Sure.
Because if that is done, that at least we can begin to feed ourselves from our homes.
Definitely.
And they won't need to depend on buying so much in the market. But you've also mentioned here, so some of us, we don't live in our personal homes. We live in rented places. And if there's no land to plant, how do we do it? I know in China, they're beginning to do greenhouse, and then you have a small space, and it is controlled farming, whatever you can do. How can we also bring that to bear here in Nigeria?
It is not an excuse. I'm sure you have a balcony, which you can use flower pots.
Okay.
When I went to China, most of the high-rises in China, they don't have lands. So you can only find the land in the suburbs.
Okay.
But people living in the city, you will see them hanging all these plants. It's not just another plant. It's tomatoes, peppers, green onions. And when they come back, the only two things that plants need, sunlight and water. If you don't get the rain, you can wet it. And that's another thing that is troubling us in Nigeria. We are nothing but a rain-fed nation. What happened to the irrigations? During the dry season now, everybody will be looking at, there's no tomato, there's no this. So if you remember, almost about 12 years ago, the Northerners, when they strike and refuse to bring all their farm produce to the west, especially to the Lagos. When you talk of Southwest, it's nothing but Lagos. Because if you know how much tomatoes we are buying in a daily basis in Lagos, is almost about nothing less than about 5 billion naira.
Okay, as much as we are trying to blame our governors, our local government chairmen for not doing the needful in terms of policies as regards agriculture, is it true that our climate is also playing a role in the food shortage problem that we have in the country?
Well, we have climate problem all over the world, and every nation is trying to salvage it. And our climate is not that too bad in Nigeria. Not every state are flooded. Lagos is not that as flooded as other states. Ogun State has one of the best land, and the same thing in Oyo State. So what could even really come out from 5 states out of the 6 states in Southwest to come and feed Lagos? It's enormous. In each state of those 5 states, if they are really serious about agriculture, they could be making nothing less than 30 billion naira every month for the IGR. 30 billion, that's a lot. How much are they collecting from the federal government? So if you multiply that, that's a multiple effect. So why should Lagos State be going to the north and partner with them for agricultural produce? When we have Ogun State that is just a throne stone, when we have Oyo State.
In terms of land?
In terms of land. I'm talking of about 3 million hectares within those 5 states alone. When you talk of Ogun, Oyo, Ekiti, Ondo, and Osun State, it's about 3 million hectares of land. What are they doing with it? If it is only 3% of it that is converted to agriculture, we won't have the same problem. The same thing with the local government. We have about 137 local governments in the Southwest. If it is only 15% of their allocations, it's not less than 300 million every month for every local government. So why can't they just allocate 15% of this allocation to agriculture? We will not be having the problem we are having. Why are we going to be importing something that we can grow? So let us stop blaming the federal government. And the federal government, to me, they have their own fault. Okay. All these social intervention funds or these palliative funds, they should be able to allocate it. Either they are going to import seed for now, because we're in the situation that is very dear right now.
Okay.
If you cannot be able to channel the money to create our own seed, then let us buy and monitor it.
Let me quickly ride on what you just said now, talking about research and funding. I know throughout this conversation you've been talking about imported seeds, and yet you talked about the fact that this is the time that we need to start at least knowing what will grow on our own land. So how much of lip service is government paying to, we have the IITA in Ibadan, and so if we cannot begin to fund research here and begin to develop our own seeds, I mean, it will not be bad if not also Nigeria sells seeds to other parts of the country. So what do we need to do as a government and as a nation to ensure that we also fund research and also get ourselves to produce our own seeds so that farmers can also... Jibola, we remember our guest who was here days ago. She's a tomato farmer. She also talked about the same thing, comparing prices with the kind of seeds that farmers do buy. How sustainable is it that as a country we'll continue to buy imported seeds?
As you have brought the sample of the seed that is being, but it's not more than this, and I bet you it's being sold for like 20,000 naira. And how many seed do you have inside? Maybe like about 25. And not every 25 will germinate. So definitely you're losing a lot of money. So if we can be able to produce our own seed in this country, a lot of costs will be reduced.
Okay, I was reading a particular story in one of the dailies today, wherein the Ogun State government is planning to give 2.5 million each to youth and, of course, give them land. Would that make any impact at all?
See, one thing with our politician is that there's too many political statements. And at the end of the day, if you say you're allocating 2.5 million naira to a farmers, who is going to supervise it? How good is implementations? We have so many policies, but implementation is the issue. The same thing with the federal government. They will roll out so many billions, trillions of naira. They say they are supporting agriculture. I'm a practicing farmer. I know some of these funds. It's not getting to the farmers. We have complained several times, but you know, because we are not politicians, they believe that it's only the politician that can be sharing the money. But once money gets to the politician's money, it doesn't get out. It goes to their constituency and they keep it for the next election. So we citizens need to be demanding. We need to go to our Minister of Agriculture. That what's the Minister of Agriculture? What is the purpose? The purpose of Minister of Agriculture is to be able to guide the local farmers. That yes, because farmers are the backbone of any nation. We like it or not. That is why we are suffering it. Rice production is supposed to be a lot more easier. Lagos State are trying their possible best to have rice milling, but they don't have the raw materials. So what do? I advise them, apply for the federal government so that you can bring the raw paddy. So that you'll be able to process. So why are we suffering our people when you know you cannot produce something?
But the Southwest governors, they met recently and they instructed their commissioners of agriculture to meet and, of course, fashion ways of ensuring that we have a food security in Southwest. Isn't that a right step in the right direction?
It's a right step. That is, if all these commissioners, what they are doing. And some of these commissioners I'm talking about, they don't even know about farming. I don't want to mention states. I don't want to mention names. They put people that they can control. They put people that can channel the money coming to agriculture, that they know where those money be going. What they have to do is to call the stakeholders. It's not
rocket science.
Not
you might not know, but you can have people who can help you in that direction. I mean, it's not everybody.
Why should I be begging government when you know the people that can do it? I'm not a beggar. I know what I'm
But
have you approached government?
You can contribute
So many.
your quota.
Both in Lagos State and Ogun State are listening. There are so many ways we can do this, and they just tell you that they hear you. But instead of them to really call the stakeholder that really know about this thing, and that is why we keep on suffering, because the money goes to the wrong hands. In Lagos, how many research and development do we have that are researching on all this thing I'm talking about? There's no single research in Lagos. Even the whole of Lagos, how many tractors do we have that we want to help these farmers? How many tractors do we have? How many bulldozers do we have? It's zero. And you're talking about food security.
So mechanized farming is also it is a way that government also can help farmers, because like you said, and I'm still going to go back to a lady farmer who was also here last week. She also talked about the fact that you cannot even cultivate big farmlands because of you know, the equipment and other, and so they use boys from neighboring Cotonou, and those ones even at the moment are not even available. So if we're serious about overcoming food shortages, can we also begin to look at collaboration? Jibola mentioned Southwestern governors just less than 2 weeks ago having a meeting. So when the governors meet, or when they also meet at the federal level, what are some of the things that we must begin to prioritize so that as a country, as a state, as local government, we can actually nip in the bud issues around food security?
The lady you are talking about is right. Because, like myself, I keep on making myself an example because I'm a practical farmer. People look at me and say, yeah, come and look at my farm. There are so many me that have been to my farm. I have over 100 acres of land. I don't have a single tractor. I've applied several times. And tractor is not something you can just go to the market and say, I want to buy this. It's not like cars. So this is where the government really need to come in. That's why I really give kudos to this Niger State governor that brought about 1,000. You can imagine if 1,000 tractors enter to a state, you will know what
you feel the impact.
You will feel the impact. No single one in Lagos State. Even on Lagos State that Ogun State you are talking about. So back to mechanization. Yes, our own seed is part of the mechanization. Because if we are able to get our own seed, because ordinary maize, if we throw into a fertile land, it will grow, it will germinate. So mechanization, yes, it's right, and that is why all this tractor comes in.
Okay.
All this processor comes in, and that is why mechanization with our population, we like it ourselves. Our population is between 275 to 300 million. We keep on deceiving and say we are about 200.
200.
When was the last time we did census? Look at the kind of people that are trooping into Lagos State. Sometimes I don't envy the Lagos State governor, because the problem alone, they are trying to sort the problem of 10 million, whereas they have another 10 million
They're just coming in.
They're just coming. So how are you going to provide social amenities for these people?
Okay.
So my advice now, let the federal government stop all these social intervention funds and the palliative in terms of money they are giving to these people. Because let me tell you, most of these governors, they are more hungry than most of the citizens on the street. But they have so many things in their head that they wanted to attend to.
All right.
Okay, if government cannot fully fund large-scale farming, can we begin to look at greenhouse farming?
See, greenhouse farming, I don't support it, because most of the greenhouse farming they have been doing is not successful. Even the Lagos State government have tried in the agric years. At the end of the day, it's food up. But with the arable land we have, trust me, with the real stakeholder and real farm, most of farmers now, they don't want to go into the farm for because of kidnapping or because of the headers. There's one thing that's trending in the north, that this header, they just brought all their account into this man farm.
And they destroy.
And they destroy everything. You understand? So definitely the security is number one. 3 things that the government need to provide: food, security, and shelters. It's only when you're alive that you can produce food. It's only when you are fed up and when you're belly food that you can even think about building a house. So those 3 things go simultaneously: food, security, and shelters. So to me, the federal government need to really come out and started all this. How could you be marking 500 billion? At the end of the day, they cannot even account for it. We see everything that the former minister was removed, whatever, for the humanitarians.
Okay, better
do. These are the money that are supposed to go to farmers or to other people. Why giving them cash? We are human beings, especially in Nigeria, giving them cash to go and distribute. Have you ever received any of this money? I myself have never received a penny, and I'm sure you never received a penny. Who told you that everybody in Nigeria is vulnerable? Everybody. Because we all go to the same market, we all apply the same road, we all buy the same petrol. Is it the same price you are buying petrol this year that you are buying last year? Right. Are you not vulnerable?
Okay. And another area that a lot of people are also looking at the moment is dependence on food exportation. Nigeria is said to be, of course, one of the countries with the highest number of food importation.
Okay.
I beg your pardon, importation.
Yes.
And so some are saying to curb inflation, to curb food insecurity, we also need to curb the way we import food into Nigeria. But if people do not even have what to fall back on here, is food importation, is that really a problem?
It's a big problem in the sense that I keep on talking about population which our government are neglecting. When you keep on importing, what is going to happen when those countries shut their own borders? The best thing, there could be a 6 months or 3 months open window. Okay, because you cannot serve your people. Right now, Nigeria is starving. We like it or not. We are just deceiving ourselves. Because look at this past election, how many people can afford to buy this ram? And I give you another joker. Most of this ram that you people see here, big, they are not from Nigeria. They are from Niger. They are being imported.
They import them.
And what do they use to import them? It's our dollars. So is it not the same dollar that they're going to use to import this food into the country? So the dollar is already stressed. Now you are going to stress it more. Why can't you put some of these dollars you are talking about, bring some agricultural equipment?
Okay.
Minor what I can give to local farmers, because farming comes from the local. So if you can bring some of this equipment, instead of using the little dollar we have to import food, and you'll be surprised that some of these people, they get this allocation to import this food, they will use the money for another 10 else.
Okay, but are there tangible signs that we are going to come out of this very soon?
Not very soon.
From some of the efforts of government?
Not very soon. Because I keep on saying not very soon because I'm a practical farmer. And the last time I said, I'm about 100 of us were dislocated in our own farm. And up to this moment, we have not got solution.
Even in Southwest here?
Even Southwest saying, in Ekpe here now.
Because I remember the lady
our farm
was
was just, the military just came over without any notice. And in fact, if I show you the picture of what we wanted to harvest, they did not allow us to harvest anything.
And so what has happened to your produce?
It got waste. They fence the whole place. They fence us out. And you are talking of food security. If I show you the damage they did in my farm, that we've been trying to get the attention of the Lagos State government, because the land was given to us by the Lagos State government. We are not illegal farmers. So if you are really serious about food security, you see people doing farming. Even if the land belongs to you as a federal government, as a military man, what do you do? We are the owner. We give you time to harvest. Because you can imagine if you can be able to harvest those
and that had gone to the markets at least. Well, with your own experience, and then you're also thinking that young people can be given incentives to want to come into farming, and all of the uncertainties around that we see every day, do you think young people are that resilient and would want to come into farming even with incentives?
Yes, that's why I said that they have to start to catch them young.
How old?
But right from the primary schools.
Okay.
Give them seed, give them land, let them spend like 30 minutes a day.
Okay.
The following day, they'll be fascinated. Oh, they wanted to go back to the land.
We
that
used
way,
to
you're
have
encouraging them.
Agri club, farm clubs.
Exactly, farm club. If we can go back to it, the same thing the workers have just said. You are not at work 24 hours now. Once you close by 4 o'clock, you can still go out and tender to your farm in your home.
Okay.
And you'll be able to get something, but the government should be able to sacrifice and give out free seed and free fertilizer. Then you see how much food we are going to have on our tables.
All right, we'll have to leave this conversation here this morning. Thank you so much, Wale Oyekoya, agriculturist and MD Bama Farms, for finding time to be here on the program. We just hope that government at all levels, will stop paying lip service to issues around agriculture and accord that sector the right priority. Again, thank you for coming on the program. We'll take a quick break. The conversation returns shortly.
The views expressed on this program do not represent that of the producer, management of Lagos Television, or the Lagos State Government. They remain the perspectives of those expressing them. Thank you for staying with Lagos Television.